Hi everyone, welcome back to Show Me Mo Vegan. I'm Wendy and today I have a grocery haul for you. I went to Natural Grocers today, which as the name implies is a natural health food store, and I don't go there very often because it's a little farther away from my house, but they have some really great items for my whole food vegan diet. So I like to stock up every once in a while, so this is a little bigger grocery haul than usual. I have a playlist that I'll link for you with a few other grocery hauls that are more typical of what I buy from week to week. So let's jump in and see what I got today. So I didn't buy too much produce today because my CSA has started. And if you're not familiar with that, CSA is Community Supported Agriculture. I have a bunch of videos about it, but basically the idea is I get produce every week from a local farmer. So I only bought some of my staples here today. Of course, I got my cucumbers and celery for smoothies, and then that's also why I bought these greens here. This will only last me maybe 2 or 3 days for my smoothies, but I should be getting some greens in my CSA this week. Then I've got some tomatoes and I grabbed a couple jalapenos. I don't buy these too often, but I had a recipe I wanted to try with those. I've got some parsley and a few limes. Limes are great for making dressings or just adding to any cooked dishes to kind of brighten up the flavor. It's really helpful if you're avoiding salt in your diet because the citrus kind of gives you a similar flavor overall. And then I got a couple little baby purple cabbages. I call it purple. I know technically it's called red cabbage, whatever, but it's my favorite kind. And then here we have a couple of apples and some yellow bell peppers. And I buy my produce based on what looks best, so that's why I got yellow peppers today. I don't prefer any one colored pepper over the other. Like I said, these just looked the best today, so that's what I got. And then I got some red onions, and then these are some Jersey sweet potatoes. This is one reason I love Natural Grocers, because I can't find these sweet potatoes anywhere else, but Natural Grocers has all kinds of different sweet potatoes and yams. They also have purple sweet potatoes and Japanese sweet potatoes, but the Jersey sweet potatoes are my favorite. They have a white flesh inside. I use these in so many different ways. One of my favorites is just to roast them and then I top them with any beans for my meal. Like last week I showed you my taco lentils. Those are great over a Jersey sweet potato. I also use these for desserts. Sometimes I'll just roast them and chop them up and then put some cherries and dates on top, and it's so delicious. Or you can freeze the cooked sweet potato and then make nice cream out of it. So they are really versatile. Here I have some tahini. Of course, this is great to make homemade hummus. I also like to use this in my salad dressing, which is a really simple recipe of just balsamic vinegar, lemon juice, stone ground mustard, and then sometimes I add this tahini. It's just made out of roasted sesame seeds and there's no added oil. I also love drinking herbal teas. Today I just got some ginger chamomile and lemon ginger. I like this brand Traditional Medicinals because most of their teas just have 1 or 2 ingredients and no sweeteners added. And they have all kinds of flavors. Some of my other favorites are peppermint, chamomile, raspberry leaf, nettle leaf, fennel, and hibiscus, but they have many others as well. Next, I have just a can of no salt added tomato sauce. I'll either use this to add some flavor to a soup or make a marinara sauce, or I also use this to make my barbecue sauce, which I shared a couple weeks ago. Then I have some applesauce, which is just 1 ingredient, organic apples and no additives. And I don't often use plant-based milks, but when I do, I like to use a really simple soy milk. I get this brand Eden Soy or another one called Westbray, which have just 2 ingredients, soybeans and water. Next up, I have some of my bulk items that I always get at Natural Grocers. So they have tons of spices that you can buy in bulk. Today I just needed some nutmeg. So I like to buy those and then I just refill my jars that I have at home. And then I buy my steel cut and my rolled oats from Natural Grocers. And as you can see, these are organic oats. And that is one thing that I am very particular about. With any other food, I usually say buy what you can afford, whether it's organic or not. It doesn't matter quite as much. But with my oats, I always try to get organic just because of the way that they're produced. Conventionally, oats are drenched in glyphosate, or also known as Roundup, and this is to dry out the plant to make it easier to harvest. And so since I'm eating oats every day, I don't want that huge load of glyphosate, so I always try to get the organic. Then I have my soybeans that I get from Natural Grocers. If you've seen any of my What I Eat in a Day videos, you know that I often like to put these in my breakfast smoothies. A lot of people like to use protein powder. Well, I just throw the whole soybeans in there. So this is where I buy them. I buy them dried, and then I cook up big batches in my Instant Pot. So I always have some. I can throw a handful into my smoothies. And then today I also just got some dried black beans. They have tons of different dried beans, so I always grab a bag or two every time I'm there. Next up, I have my favorite kind of tortillas. Now, if you love chips and you're serious about getting healthy, you need to find some tortillas like these. It's almost impossible to find tortilla chips that don't have added oil and salt, and if you are trying to get healthy, you want to try to avoid those things. So these tortillas are great because they don't have any salt or oil, so you can bake up your own chips really easily. Again, in my What I Eat in a Day videos, I've shown it a couple of times, so you can check those out to see how to do it. But I basically just toss them in the toaster oven until they get crispy. And you can make tostadas or chips or whatever you want with those. And then I was really excited to find this. I normally make my own hummus because oil-free hummus is really hard to find at the store. And all of my regular grocery stores don't carry any that don't have oil. But Natural Grocers has this one, and this one is actually zero fat because it doesn't have any tahini in it either, which normally hummus has. And the tahini doesn't bother me. I don't avoid fat completely, but I just actually prefer the flavor of this one better, so that's why I get this fat-free one. And I'm also trying this roasted pepper hummus for the first time. This one does have tahini in it, so if you're watching out for that, just be aware of that. Next up, I have some sauerkraut. I don't eat a ton of sauerkraut, but every once in a while, I like to get a little bit of that or kimchi. Of course, it's great for your gut microbiome, giving you those probiotics. And speaking of that, tempeh is also good for the gut. Tempeh, if you're not familiar, is a fermented soy product, and it uses the whole soybeans, so it's really healthy for you. Then I also just got some regular tofu. I'll use that for tofu scrambles or baked tofu. Then here I have some Ezekiel bread. This is really the only bread that I eat because it's all made with whole sprouted grains, so it's really healthy and it has tons of fiber, and I actually think it tastes really delicious, so I love the Ezekiel bread. Next up, I always like to keep some frozen sweet potatoes and frozen butternut squash. These are great to throw into soups or stews, plus you can just throw them on a sheet pan and roast them up for a quick snack. Then I have some frozen mango and cherries. These are great for smoothies. I love using cherries in my oatmeal and for desserts. And like I said, sometimes I throw them on top of my Jersey sweet potatoes for an easy sweet treat. Finally, I have some hash browns, and I love these because the only ingredient is potatoes. Usually frozen potatoes have salt and oil and dextrose and other additives, so I love that I'm able to find these with just potatoes. So that was my Natural Grocers haul, and my grand total was $164.77. Like I said, that's a little higher than my normal grocery bill, but I was stocking up on some things that will last me for a while. I hope you found this video helpful. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more grocery hauls and whole food vegan meal ideas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.